A very good morning, everyone. Welcome to StudyIQ English. Welcome to the Hindu newspaper analysis with me. So, today for the newspaper discussion, we have about six articles. Why six? Because today, being the World TB Day, I have combined many articles together into one. And all these are editorial and text page together. So we are looking about tuberculosis. So we shall try to understand the nature of the disease, about drug resistant TB, about what new treatment lines are being adopted in India. We will look into DPSP, we will look into SDG, and then following, we have some interesting things, that is international relations. We shall be traveling to West Asia. We shall be looking at also the Tigray region. So we shall go to Africa briefly. And then I also have a 3 to 4 statement, very exciting quiz with all of you. So we shall look into that as well. And before that, here's quickly the QR code for my Telegram channel. Those who are still trying to find the channel, it's right here. And now, before I start with the first article from editorial page, the evolving diagnostic landscape for tuberculosis, let me quickly greet all of you here. I'm feeling extremely happy, extremely happy and excited to meet you. It's been a long gap and interacting with all of you. My most learned, my most interactive, inquisitive, and intelligent community of students here. I haven't really interacted with you in a long time, and it was such a big vacuum because every morning we all start with this schedule. We talk to each other. It's such a great experience being with you. And I honestly missed it. It was purely because of some family compulsion. Somebody was unwell, and I had to travel back to my native. Because of that, I wasn't there. So, thank you so much for bearing with me. And thank you so much for your cooperation. Absolutely, I missed each one of you, and I'm more than happy to be here, back again to the same routine. All right. So let me quickly then welcome my dear students on board, and then we start with the first article for the day. So let me quickly welcome Sumit, Sitaram, Sachin, Pranarthi, Yogesh, Yuvraj, Harsh, and Brajesh, Anup, Munna, Shalik, Madhav, Chaitanya. Yes, that's true. Reshma is here, Shlok is here, Ramu is here, Bulbul, Krishna, Dipesh is here after a very long time. Long time no see Dipesh. Saurav, Rajnishwar. All right. Session will be routine, 1 hour to 1 hour 20 minutes, nothing new. Kavish, Sitaram, Shlok. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right. Okay, so very good morning and welcome to the class. Lots of love and lots of blessings to all of you. Let's start with the first article for the day as other students keep joining in. Okay, so what is this article talking about? Now, exactly as Ramu says, today is the World TB Day. World Tuberculosis Day on 24th of March. Naturally, therefore, most of the articles are tuned about tuberculosis. We shall have to focus on that. So let us see what the first 2 3 articles have to talk about TB in a very new way. What perspectives are they giving? Post that, we shall continue with international relations. When I was not there in the last 3 4 days, too many things have happened, in fact. So let's quickly touch them upon. So, good morning, Kojumba. Love to see you. Okay, so let's start now. What does this article say? Well, the article is talking about World Health Organization. Yes, the same body from which Mr. Trump, American president, has withdrawn. UN and 66 other agencies, including other agencies like Gavi and World Health Organization. Well, the top-notch economy of the world has no interest in WHO whatsoever. But that doesn't mean other countries of the global south have also lost interest. No, they have not. Today also we believe in the protocols and guidelines given by WHO, and hence this article starts with WHO. Article says WHO has recommended a new and a very fast diagnostic kit for tuberculosis. Yes, a deadly bacterial disease that can be contagious. And India has one of the highest TB burden across the world, by the way. So, what are these new treatments suggested by WTO? These treatments are called near point of care molecular test. I repeat, this is GS paper 3, health, science and technology. So we are talking about near point of care molecular test. What are these? This means that TB testing can now be done in India very close to the patient himself, like through the primary health centers, like through mobile clinics, like through community health camps and door to door campaigning. Now, because I'm talking about primary health care center, can I quickly ask a question from my dear students? Good morning, Vikash. Can I ask from everyone, which health committee in India had recommended the setting up of primary health care centers in India? I know that you know about it. Which committee was that quickly, and which year was it appointed? 19? Yes. Which committee had suggested the setting up of primary healthcare centers as the backbone of Indian healthcare? Which committee was that in the past? Ayush is a dedicated ministry meant for alternative medication. Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, that's different. Which committee? Very good, Vikash. The Bhor Committee, absolutely. Joseph Bhor Committee. Joseph Bhor Committee. And which year was the committee appointed? In history, which year can I peg the Joseph Bhor Committee to? The committee which recommended primary healthcare centers in India. 19? 19? Bhor Committee, Reshma. Very good, Ramu. The Bhor Committee. Was it 1943 to 46? Very, very good. Absolutely, Ramu. So, yes, it was the Joseph Bhor Committee. Good, Pranarithi and Bulbul. We are talking about that. Absolutely, Ramu initiated the year. Very, very good. So, in future, let's remember, it was this committee. And now what is WHO saying? WHO says primary healthcare center is the backbone of healthcare in India. You know, many people in India don't have insurance. Barely about 38% people have. Primary health care is mainly provided by the government. And today the WHO says, let's create near point of care molecular test. People who are victims of TB may not be able to travel for kilometers and seek expensive private health. So therefore, let's reach out to them through community well-being camps and through mobile clinics and through primary health center. So now what is changing? Earlier, when if somebody was suspected of having tuberculosis, yes, so their samples used to be taken to big laboratories and the results used to take long time to come, sometimes weeks altogether. So that means the patient will continue to be sick and the patient's medication will continue getting delayed. The person generally coming from a poor background will not just lose their livelihood and job, they will also become malnourished and spread the disease to many more people about it. It's dangerous. So now the new tool is near point of care molecular test. What is this? These are very small portable machines. What are portable? Mobile. Things you can carry from one place to another. Portable machines. They directly detect the TB bacteria's DNA. I repeat, very good, Vikash. TB bacteria. Oh, don't say that, Sherlock. I'm never going to leave you. Never at all. Oh, my bacha, don't say that. That's so sweet. See, I came back eventually. All right, that's really sweet of you. Okay, now coming back to this, TB caused by bacteria, and Vikash is mentioning the bacteria, Mycobacterium. Yes. So, what is this new technique, molecular test? The molecular test means that now the DNA of microbacterium will get attacked. It is able to get detected. Now that it is detected, what happens? Quick and accurate results are coming. Very good. The TB elimination program, we are talking about that now. Nikshay program, absolutely. So what will the molecular test do? It's unlike the previous test. Molecular test will exactly hit the DNA. It will detect the DNA of the microbacterium of TB. And then what happens? Then you get the results immediately. Once you get the result immediately, what happens? You do not need any advanced, elaborate laboratory or any advanced medical infrastructure. You save money also. And the patient is getting results on time. Is that not a great way of saving life? It is. It is. At the same time, earlier what used to happen? The tongue swab samples used to be taken just like we took in the case of corona. That's very unfortunate, Yuvraj. In India, it's very, very common, by the way. India has one of the highest impacts of TB, highest burden of TB. That's also a reality. Very sad. Now, tongue swab used to be taken. It used to only test the sputum. Then what happened? The results were not just delayed, the results were sometimes also faulty. But now those things are changing because India is also using small portable X-ray machines. All of them are using AI, artificial intelligence, to detect TB very early in the poor communities. Okay. Now, at the same time, the goal is early diagnostics. The goal is early treatment. And at the same time, it also means the sooner you detect, the lesser the TB spreads. At the same time, you also eliminate TB in the long run. After all, under World Health Organization, we have a target. By 2030, we must eliminate TB. And what does India believe in? India believes in another thing. India says not just 2030, let's try to eliminate TB by 2025. And for that, these diagnostic techniques are very, very important. So now if you start believing in WHO, World Health Organization's new protocols, it's very clear that portable chest X-ray machines with mobile vans, which are traveling from door to door now, and that are able to provide molecular tests. What are molecular tests? These are modern tests. Modern TB tests, as I said, which are able to detect the DNA material of TB bacteria quickly and accurately. That means they are much better than old microscopy method. I repeat, they are much better than previous microscopy method. Which are the two biggest example of molecular tests? Now it's written right here on your screen. Let's understand them quickly. And yes, that's a valid statement made by you, Johan. We will talk about antibiotic and AMR. We will talk about that also. First, let's understand which are these two new molecular technologies. One is CBNAAT. What does it stand for? It means cartridge-based nucleic acid amplification test. And what do you mean by that? It is a diagnostic technique that is able to detect the DNA of TB bacteria, the one that Vikas was mentioning, mycobacterium. It also identifies rifampicin drug resistance, something that Johan was saying. Naturally, we know that AMR, antimicrobial resistance, is a very common reality for India right now. There are multiple kinds of bacteria and viruses that are becoming resistant to drug. In fact, India has also initiated AMR 2.0. For what? For making people aware against the dangers of self-medication. And same thing applies to TB bacteria also. Now, what is the most general medicine used to cure TB? Rifampicin. Rifampicin is the most common drug. But once resistance develops in TB bacteria, no amount of rifampicin will kill the TB bacteria. And that's why the beauty of molecular testing is that it is also able to identify those strains of bacteria that are resistant to rifampicin. So that alternate treatment can immediately start. The best thing is it is giving result in 2 hours. All these are based on machine testing. Similarly, there is another technique called TrueNat. Now, TrueNat is very important for UPSC. Why? It is developed by India. It's an indigenous tool. It is portable and battery operated. It works in remote rural areas also. It not only detects the TB bacteria very early, it is also able to detect drug resistance, that is rifampicin resistance. Much faster, more decentralized than the earlier one, CBNAT. Yes. So now what happens? It is more helpful for rural and primary healthcare centers. That's the thing. So why do molecular tests become so important today? Why are they so crucial? Because they are much more accurate than the previous microscopy based result. Earlier, you used to take samples of swabs, either sputum or tongue swab. Then an elaborate bacterial culture test will happen. It will take 3 to 5 days to give result. These are based on smear technology. Sometimes the results might be faulty if the testing is done at an early stage. Sometimes by the time the result comes, the disease has already taken its toll on the patient. So therefore, molecular tests are much better. Not only are they quick, not only are they mobile, they will lead to early detection. Early detection means early treatment, plus they are also detecting drug resistance. So that means what happens? If you compare these with swab and sputum testing, they are much better. Because AI scanning of routine X-rays are also now a part of this program, TB elimination program, to automatically detect TB. And the sooner you do, the better it is. So what initiatives have we as a country, as India, taken to eliminate TB? Very important. One that Vikash was mentioning right now. Which initiative was that? This is TB Mukt Bharat. Very important. TB Mukt Bharat. India has an elaborate program known as NTEP, National Tuberculosis Elimination Program. Under the NTEP, it's very, very important that we use portable X-ray machine. We expand molecular testing. We improve sample collection. We target the high risk group. Who are the high risk group? Urban poor, tribal area. Now you might ask a question, Bache, Ramu, Shlok. Yes, Kaizen. Why are urban poor so susceptible? Because look at the working conditions that they have, Bache. They are living in slums and ghettos. Now these are poorly ventilated areas. They do not have they do not have any kind of concrete, any kind of secluded living space. There is barely any hygiene. So once TB impacts one person, it's very easy for it to spread across the community. Plus, these are poor people. Their nutrition is always a challenge. They are generally victims of malnourishment. So the lesser immunity you have, the more soon you will show, and the dangerous symptoms will come to you much quickly. That's why. But there are still many, many challenges in India. What challenges can we talk about? Challenges are that many people who, after getting diagnosed with TB, still do not produce productive cough. They are having dry cough. When there is no sputum involved in the cough, how will you do any kind of microscoping testing, any kind of swab testing? You can't. This is more common with children and elderly. Then TB among young kids, it's very tough to diagnose. Apart from that, extra pulmonary TB, lung TB, the one that's very advanced, it's very expensive to detect. Plus, rifampicin. Rifampicin resistant TB is very tough to cure. The medicines have terrible side effect. At the same time, asymptomatic cases of TB are also becoming common. These are certain challenges now. So why does it matter so much? It matters at the end of the day because early diagnosis can save life. It can prevent transmission, improve the treatment success, cuts healthcare cost in India. We all know as UPSC aspirants that in India we are not spending 5% of GDP on healthcare. So preventive healthcare becomes important here. Early detection is like a vaccine against TB. So modern AI plus molecular diagnostics will be able to detect and eliminate TB faster. Yes? All right. Can we have a look at the question, Bachi? Before we proceed with second article, and that's also on TB, but that's more elaborate. In the meantime, you can have a look at the question, and then we see another article that's also about TB, by the way, but slightly more elaborate than that. Okay, Bhavna? Very, very good. We did speak about ELISA test when we were talking about HIV. Yes, absolutely, we had a discussion. Very good, Bhavna. That's very heartbreaking. I'm so sorry to know of that. Bharti, God bless you and may you recover really soon. God bless you. Question: with reference to recent developments in tuberculosis diagnosis, please have a look at these statements. Vikash is answering. 1. WHO has recommended near point of care molecular test for TB. Second, tongue swab samples can now be used for TB testing. Okay. 3. Artificial intelligence enabled portable chest x-rays are being used for community screening in India. And last, sputum smear microscopy can detect drug resistant TB effectively. Slightly confusing, and I can see a big split here, Bache, today. Yes, Shlo. There is a massive split. Initiated from my dear Vikash, then Madhav, then Neil Chandra, Sitaram, Diptesh, Kojumba, Shlok, Sachin, Rajnishwar. And what about Ramu and Reshma? And what about Munna and Iba, Bulbul? Ramu answers, Bhavna does. Absolutely. Shlok says it's a gift from us to you, ma'am, to make you super happy. Okay, is that the case? Then I will be really happy. Krishna, Kaushal, Pranarithi. Okay, no problem. Well tried. Anok. Anoop, many people are selecting D here. Can we break this down? I think everybody has tried to answer really well. What I believe is that maybe we have not been able to really focus too well on few options. Majority goes with D. Shakti, Munna, Johan, all my dear aspirants are a little confused between B and D. Let's break it down. Is the first one correct? Absolutely correct. That's exactly what WHO has said. So therefore C cannot be correct. What about second, Yogesh? Iba? Tongue swab samples can now be used for TB testing. Absolutely, we are using that and quite commonly. So therefore D cannot be correct. Why? Because you know that tongue swab samples are used, sputum samples are used. Every day they are being used to detect TB. That's what mobile vans are doing. They are using both. Sputum sample also, tongue based samples also, they are using. They are using both, bache. They are using both of them. It's correct only. Third one, AI enabled portable x-rays are being used for community screening. Absolutely. That's what India plans to do under National TB Elimination Program, NTEP. Correct. If that's correct, then A cannot be correct. Then what about the last one? There is something problematic with the last option. Sputum smear microscopy is an age-old test. It's a conventional way of testing where you take the sputum of somebody. Sputum, phlegm that you produce. Why do you produce phlegm? A lot of people cough and you know that phlegm comes out. Why does phlegm come out, by the way? That mucus comes out because the body is trying to protect itself. Self-defense mechanism. Body has a self-defense mechanism, right? Fever, phlegm, sneezing, these are not diseases. All these are defense mechanisms of the body. The body deliberately produces mucus so that virus and bacteria can get trapped into it. It's uncomfortable to us, but that's the way the body is trying to protect itself. Yes, so now what happens? People take the sample of that phlegm and then it is cultured in the laboratory. It is a time-taking thing, but it cannot detect properly drug-resistant TB. That's why we don't want these outdated technologies anymore. What we need is molecular testing. There are two examples we looked at, the CB-NAT and the TrueNAT. One is India made. Why? Because now with these molecular diagnostics, we can detect the DNA of the TB bacteria, mycobacterium, so that early on we have a diagnosis. They also are able to test for rifampicin resistant TB, something that previous tests were not able to do. So 4 is not correct, making B the right answer. Lots of confusion? No problem. Did you understand? Is it clear with everyone? And honestly, there is nothing wrong with saying the right with the wrong response. It's totally all right. If we understand, it's completely fine. It's good to make mistakes. It's good to understand and have clarity. May I presume it's clear with everyone? Ramu, Madhav, Yuvraj, Vikash, Reshma, could you confirm Shlok? Yes? Bacha, everyone is clear with it? Is it Sitaram? May I presume it's clear? Today Terukula is not there? Okay, Diptesh says yes, it's clear. Yeah, you all started with a great dhamaka today. No problem. Very good, Bhavna. Saurav, thank you for confirming. Let's proceed with the second article, but this is a combo of two articles together, Pranarithi. Why? Because both are on TB, right? Let's quickly do it. Thank you, Ramu. Thank you, Vikash. Let's proceed, Bache. What are these two articles trying to say? This is a little more elaborate article. We are looking again into GS paper 3. Health and nutrition, science and technology. What is this article saying? Oh, it's okay, Shlok. This is the last boring one and then you have IR. Okay. Shlok can't tolerate anything except IR. All right. Quickly, the next article. What does it say? India's fight against tuberculosis needs two key things beyond medicine. Now, if those of you who are well prepared for the CSAT exam, those of you who have studied all the previous year question passages for CSAT will definitely remember that in CSAT exam, there is a very interesting passage that I have taught you in the class on tuberculosis. It was talking about exactly the same theme. That treatment of tuberculosis is not just about medicine, it's about much more. TB is a dangerous complex disease and therefore the treatment is also multidimensional. This article says the same thing. Article says India's fight against tuberculosis needs two things that are more than medicines. One, community support to TB survivors. Now, people who got TB but they survived are called TB champions because they have successfully been able to beat the disease behind. And second, we need better nutrition to reduce the number of death, mortality, and prevent new cases from coming up. Because after all, somebody who is immunocompromised, somebody who is malnourished, will definitely be more susceptible to bacterial and viral infections. Second, the problem is that those who are malnourished will not even be able to tolerate the side effects of the disease as well as the medication. So, therefore, nutrition is at the heart of curing TB. Now, TB patients in India are not just victims of a bacterial disorder, sorry to say. They are quite like HIV, quite like certain kinds of cancers, quite like certain other diseases like leprosy. They are also victims of social stigma, ostracization, loneliness, isolation, lack of job, and discrimination, and very poor family support. Former patients are called TB champions because they have been able to fight all these and then create counseling and awareness, and they are important. TB champions are the best people who can create awareness about TB and who can also provide psychological support to existing patients, especially poor patients, young patients. They can provide emotional support. They can also provide complete treatment guidance to all those people who are victims of TB. You see, they are very important right now because community participation will strengthen India's fight towards TB. India is a country that's very ambitious when it comes to TB. Now, recently, you all know, Bache, that India has also introduced a compulsory, not because we are forcing people to take that. It's universal. It's a universal vaccine for cervical cancer, especially true strains of cervical cancer. HPV, we have started, right? So India is quite ambitious when it comes to healthcare goals. And India says, why 2030? Let's achieve the target of eliminating TB by 2025 itself. Yes? So community participation is very important. So what's the key pitch of this article? Yes, today is the World TB Day. And this article says medical treatment is not enough. Community support and involvement are equally important for us. Now, why is nutrition so important for curing TB, bache? Because undernourishment, hidden hunger, malnourishment is a major cause and consequence of TB in India. Poor immunity due to lack of protein increases your risk of contracting TB. We are talking about a society that we are, where 57.8% women, as per the data of National Family Health Survey round 5 and 6, are victims of anemia, low hemoglobin, low iron, low folate. We are talking about such a country. So, therefore, nutrition is important because it lowers your immunity if you are malnourished. Example, there was an experiment that was done in Jharkhand. Yes. What was that experiment, Bache? Now, this experiment that was done in Jharkhand was known as Russians trial. I repeat, I have not probably written it here. Yes, it's called Russians trial. What happened here? Under Russians trial, monthly food basket was improved for a certain group of poor people. Yes, they were provided with more dairy products, more pulses, more protein. And what happened? Magic happened. 60% reduction was found in the death risk. Mortality fell by 60%. Can you imagine? Just with a change of diet, just with more protein and better quality food, mortality rate reduced by 60%. Now, nearly half reduction in new TB cases happened in families who were given much better ration as a part of public distribution system, which includes pulse protein and a balanced diet. All these also improved recovery. So what's the key idea? The key idea is whether, very good shlok, whether you provide fortified food, whether you provide smart proteins, ultimately giving somebody nutrition and good food is like a supportive vaccine against the fight of TB. Are there any programs that Indian government is running for that? Yes. National TB Elimination Program, NTEP. Under that, we have a portal called Nikshay Portal. I repeat, Nikshay Portal. Okay, Nikshay Portal. Now, Nikshay Portal is about digitally tracking TB patients so that we have a combined database of them. At the same time, active case reporting in the case of communities which are underreported. We also should track drug resistant TB management. Plus, we have another great program that's called Nikshay Poshan Yojana. I repeat, Nikshay Poshan. What is Poshan? Poshan means nutrition. So, Nikshay Poshan Yojana, 1000 rupees per month given to people who are coming from poor backgrounds so that they can buy healthy food for themselves. Here comes my dear Terukula. Good morning, Bache. We were all missing you. Okay. And then Nikshay Mitra scheme. What is Nikshay Mitra scheme? Nikshay Mitra scheme means community support to TB patients. Now, World Health Organization today is recommending nutrition-based TB interventions. But the real problem is multi-drug resistant TB. Now comes the point that Joham was talking about. What are we looking at? We are talking about drug resistant TB. So there are two kinds of drug resistant TBs. One is called MDR TB and the other is called XDR TB. What are these two? MDR TB means multi-drug resistant TB. Here the TB bacterium Mycobacterium is typically resistant to two most common antibiotics, and which are these? Rifampicin and isoniazid. Now this question, if it comes in prelims, you must know. You must know. Rifampicin, most common antibiotic for TB. There is another one named as isoniazid. These are typically used to cure TB, but under MDR, the bacteria is resistant to both. Both. Similarly, there is another one, XDR TB. It's more dangerous. XDR TB means extensively drug resistant TB. This is even more severe than MDR TB. Why? Because here the TB bacteria doesn't react to isoniazid, neither to rifampicin, nor to the third and more dangerous class of drugs known as fluoroquinolone drugs. It doesn't respond to anything. And also it doesn't respond to the most commonly used injections for curing TB. And both these are dangerous. The treatment can be as long as 2 to 3 years and much more expensive. That's the problem here. These are very tough to treat. You can't treat them easily. And now what happens? Unfortunately, as a country, India has globally the highest burden of TB. TB champions are the only people whom we can trust for reducing stigma and improving treatment adherence. They are the ones who can inspire the sufferers from continuing treatment despite cost and side effect. Because undernourishment or malnourishment, hidden hunger, protein hunger is responsible for 40% of TB cases in India. Food support, especially protein and pulse-rich diet, can reduce death, can reduce new infection. Combining community support, nutrition, medical treatment is a multi-dimensional protocol that we use to cure TB, and that's what this article says. Now, in the longer term, it also points out to a very big structural problem in India. As a country, we know that even today, India is providing minimum support price for cereals like rice, wheat, sometimes, this oils, various kind of oil crops and sugar. Unfortunately, only if we could start providing MSP, minimum support price on pulses, then things might change dramatically. Or towards horticultural product, things might change dramatically. But that's not happening in India. I gave you a case study of Madhya Pradesh, the highest soybean producer in India. Today, majority young farmers are leaving behind. They are leaving the soybean production. They feel there is no profit in soybean cultivation. Now, only if we could give MSP on that at a much higher scale, don't you think farmers will be encouraged to cultivate these pulses and horticultural products? If more farmers produce it, naturally more supply, and then people consume them more as compared to consuming rice and wheat. Now look at India's public distribution system, fair ration price shops, ration card. we still are providing maximum rice, wheat, and sugar or oil. Hardly do we provide vegetable, fruit, or pulses. So, naturally, as a population, we are getting susceptible not just to higher cases of TB but also to type 5 diabetes, malnourishment, type 2 diabetes, lifestyle, heart attacks, insulin resistance, high blood pressure. All these are common side effects of that. So, either you go for an intensive fortification, but that's also controversial. Few medical studies are saying the bioavailability of fortified foods is not comparable to organic foods. What is bioavailability? The amount of food you actually absorb in your body. Rest is wasted. You can't fortify and expect same absorption to happen in the body as it happens in the case of natural food. So that's a challenge. Plus, fortification means more cold chain investment, better supply chain. Again, that's a Pandora box in its own self. Yes, so therefore, what can we do? We can shift a little bit of MSP into pulses and more healthy products. That's the pitch a lot of people are requesting now. And before I show you the question, here's one quick question that I want to ask you. May I know from all my dear students that which sustainable development goal out of 17 SDGs talks about good health and well-being for everyone across the world by 2030? May I know? Which SDG, which sustainable development goal talks about health and well-being for everyone by 2030? Brilliant, Shlok. It is SDG 3. Very good, Reshma. Now, may I ask you, which is the most relevant directive principles of state policy that I can invoke here? Although there are many, but I want the most relevant DPSP that I can use for this article, Bache. Diptesh Bhavna, Sumed Rajnishwar, please enlighten us. Which DPSP is the most important one here? Which says that it's the duty of the government of India to raise the level of nutrition among people, to improve the standard of living and to improve public health. Very, very close, Terukula, very close, Madhav, close, Vikash, very good. Shlok, it is 47, absolutely. So we can clearly say that this article feeds directly into SDG 3, and of course 48 is also relevant, but the most spot on relevant is 47. That says it is the duty of the Indian government to provide not only for better nutrition of people, but also in general to provide people better standard of living. That's SDG 47. Very, very good. Okay. Is that the case? Is our advertisement so harassing for you? Why do they come? I don't understand. Why these many ads are coming on YouTube? Even if you refresh, it happens, is it? Okay, let me ask somebody from the technical team, because I am no expert in technology either. Let me ask them and get back to you if there's any way we can overcome this menace. It's painful, I know. It's very disturbing. No problem, Kojumba. Till you understood, it's fine. They are not enforceable, Madhav. Absolutely. They are guidelines on the government. That's why they are called as the morality of Indian Constitution. Constitutional morality is rooted in DPSP. Very good, Ramu. Thanks for explaining. Brilliant. All right. So Terukula is suggesting something. Kojumba, if you can use that, maybe it will help us. Shlok is already answering. Reshma is answering at thunder speed. Vikash is answering. Sumed is answering. Madhav is answering. My goodness, let me read. Consider the following statements regarding tuberculosis in India, control in India. 1. TB champions are TB survivors who provide peer counseling and help reduce the stigma, shame in communities. 2. Undernutrition is a major risk contributing to significant proportion of TB cases in India. 3. The Russians' trial in Jharkhand showed that providing nutritional support reduced TB recurrence but had no impact on mortality. And 4. Nikshay Poshan Yojana provides a direct benefit transfer to support nutrition of TB patients. Which of these are valid? Majority is saying answer is B, and there is no split today. There is no split, absolutely. So as I said, it was initiated from Shlok, Reshma, Vikash, Sumed, Madhav, then Krishna, Kavish, Sitaram, Terukula, Yuvraj, Neel Chandra, Kojumba, Diptesh, very good. Munna, Pranarathi, Ramu, Ayush, everybody has answered. What can I do? Standing ovation. Standing I can't give, otherwise I'll fall down. Sitting ovation. Very well answered. B is the right answer. Brilliant, everybody. Why is the third statement not correct? Because we saw from Jharkhand experiment, the Russian scheme reduced mortality up to 40%. It will reduce mortality if you give people protein based food. They need the immunity to fight the disease, and majorly people are dying because of malnourishment, less from the disease itself. So, very well answered, everyone. Beautifully answered. Totally correct. Well done, Ramu. Absolutely, absolutely, everyone. Brilliant. So now you have reasons to be happy, especially my dear Shlok will be very excited now. Done with the so-called boring articles for the day and back to our soapbox. Now we are talking about GS paper 2. We are talking about international relations, a hot favorite of my dear students. GS paper 2, international relations. We are talking about foreign policy. Sitting ovation. All right, Ram. So let's go to West Asia, and as my bachas enjoy the map, I will quickly break down the article for all of you. So here's the standard map that we see almost every day. Here is Iran. Sorry, Vikash, 60%. Thank you. Thank you so much for rectification. Reduced mortality by 60% in Jharkhand. Thank you. Very observant. Thank you. Coming back to the map. Here is Iran. The war is continuing. It's been 2 weeks already. Everybody was speculating in India and in the global media that after 10 days of the war, Mr. Trump will withdraw. He will not continue with the war anymore because the war is not giving any result. Till date, we have no winner and no loser. US and Israel are persistent with their attacks, and Iran is persistent with its ballistic missile program. Iran has now said, if my oil terminals are attacked, I will continue to attack the critical infrastructure of all the Gulf countries. I will not leave anybody. At the same time, something very funny has happened again. You can laugh. I did in the morning. Mr. Trump said in the morning today, let's do a 5 days break in the war. Let's do a 5 days break in the war. Are we playing some game? Time, please. Like children play with each other, hide and seek. Suddenly, time, please. Excuse me, ma'am, I need to go to the restroom or I want to drink some water. What's going on? It's a war. It's a war, for heaven's sake. It's not a game that's going on. Earlier, Mr. Trump said, I will attack Kharg Island, the the island in the Persian Gulf, the largest oil export terminal for Iran. Earlier, he said, I will attack Kharg Island for fun. Today, he says, let's do a 5 day pause. Iran says, excuse me. Have you lost it, buddy? What do you mean by 5 days break? Are we playing with each other? We don't want any break. We will continue the attacks. And now he's shocked. Now he's shocked. Now this break demand signifies something very dangerous. It means that US has no agenda for the war anymore. Because initially the agenda was nuclear program of Iran. Then the agenda was to kill the top leadership of Iran and to have a regime change. And now when nothing is working, what next? As we all were speculating. Yes, Madhav, Shlok, we all were talking about that, Ramu. All of us were saying that one day, with Iran's saturation strategy, cheap drones and ballistic missiles, enemy's infrastructure will become weak. How many missile interceptors will you employ? Patriot, Third, they are expensive and time-taking. One day they will get saturated, and it has happened. Saturation strategy is successful today. Axis of resistance is also successful today. How will you retaliate when your weapons are giving up? He says, I want 5 day break. What do you mean? Is it a joke that's going on? So that's what this article is exactly trying to talk about. Now, absolutely. As I was not here, I was on leave. All of you must have seen even Diego Garcia is not safe now in the Chagos Island. Diego Garcia we have spoken about in detail with the map, where you have the UK and US military base. Finally, UK was ready to give Chagos Island back to Mauritius. But US had a problem with that. US said, no, don't give it back. And now today what happened? Again, this area is also experiencing an attack from Iran because Iran will not leave any military infrastructure that's coming from US. That's what Iran says. But who else did? Who else did? That's the main question. So now you see what is going on is another ugly aspect of the war. You see the West Asian war is only escalating, bache. It's only escalating. Now countries like Iran, Israel, Saudi Arabia, UAE are full members of this war. This has raised a concern about oil supply vulnerability and global shipping once again. On the map, of course, you are a pro at map now, all of you. You can see Strait of Hormuz right here. Somebody was mentioning about the arrow shaped island right now. I missed the name of my student. Who was mentioning about the arrow? Terukula. Arrow shaped island. Quesham Island, where Iran has desalinization plant. Then you have Kharg Island, largest oil terminal. Plus there are many more areas that are rich in oil. All of them are attacked from US. US is attacking civilian infrastructure. But now the problem is Iran also knows how to retaliate. So Saudi and UAE are also facing missile and drone attack. They are saying air defense systems are able to intercept most of these missiles, but after all, how many will you intercept? Iran is not a country that will give up easily. Israel recently launched an airstrike on Tehran, capital of Iran. And Iran said, now listen, I am coming with my trump card. What will Iran do now? What will Iran do now? Very good, Reshma. The Aramco oil field. What will Iran do now? Today, Iran says, I am going to lay a network of mines. I repeat, mining. A network of mines in the Gulf water. Very good, Madhav. I was about to talk about that. The Ras Lafan, absolutely. Very good. So now what's happening? Iran is saying, I will put mines everywhere in the Persian Gulf area. Now I will see which oil tanker and which ship is able to pass from my waters. Who is able to navigate through Hormuz? And why is it controversial? Because if Iran puts mines in sea routes, then let alone partial blocking, Strait of Hormuz will become completely dysfunctional, shut for indefinite period of time. But we all know it is 30% of global oil and crude that passes from here. So then, a complete disruption of Hormuz and mining of this area means further increase in global oil prices as compared to even today. Stock markets completely crashing down. Now look at the behavior of stock markets. It's funny and sad at the same time. Mr. Trump said, I want 5 days break, and stock markets jumped up. Iran replied and said, it's not a game, sir. No break. We will continue the fight, and stock markets fell back again. That's how it's happening right now. All of this is affecting India's energy security in a major way. And it is going to disrupt. It is going to disrupt the global trade once and for all, even in the times to come. Now, similarly, we have many other areas. Ras Lafan, the very important gas terminal in Qatari area, again attacked. You see, if all these areas keep on getting attacked, then there is no security, not just for crude, but also for things like LPG, LNG in the coming future. Very good, absolutely. Plus, Iran is also threatening now, not just will I put mines, I will also start charging, as Rajneeshwar says, very good, about $2 million for every ship pass through this area. I'm going to charge them 100 times more the price. It's in a way named as strategic water domination, and that's what Iran is doing. So now what? What's the future? The future is like not just most countries in Asia. India, China, Japan, South Korea will continue to face oil insecurity. The price of Russian Ural oil will keep increasing in times to come. The more the Russian oil price increases, the better for Russian economy. And the better for Russian economy, the more war on Ukraine continues. Because Russia will not settle until it gets Donbass. So you see, benefit for one is always the loss for the other. That's only foreign politics. But now the problem is, today US might be realizing that, and who asked that question? Yuvraj, and before that Saurav? Absolutely. Very good. How will it impact petrodollar in a very big way? Because right before this war, it was American petrodollar dominance across the whole world, except Russia and China, who were trading in yuan. Most countries were believing in dollar trade when it comes to oil supply and oil purchase. Today, as prices are shooting beyond upper limit, today as most of the choke points are shutting down, there is a very big jolt, a very big shock for the petrodollar. Plus, as India is presiding over the BRICS this time, a big agenda of China and Russia is to do anti or de-dollarization campaign as well. So it is not going to strengthen the petrodollar monopoly of US in times to come. Okay. So now what happens? That is the main thing. And majority of those who do not believe in petrodollar dominance will continue trade through shadow fleet like Russia is doing. Today, Russia is the ruler of oil routes. But the problem is, again, all this is shadow fleet. Because on paper, petrodollar continues to dominate. But in reality, the value of dollar will definitely fall. If not today, then tomorrow if the war continues. US is spending obnoxious amount of money in defense and warfare right now. It will impact American economy in a big way. Also because nobody will be able to buy that oil with all the strategic choke points that are shut. Yes. Now with that, before we proceed with the question, here is another interesting map that I want everybody to see here, please. Okay, Apex, Yuvraj, Krishna, everybody, I want you to see the map, bache, thoroughly well. Terukula, Reshma, map, please. Everyone, in fact. Munna, Akhtar, everyone. I loved this map, so I got it for you. I really found this map good. Now, in this map, you can see all the major, thank you so much, Akash, all the major oil supply chains, all the major choke points in one. Interesting? Can we have a look quickly? Now, one more disclaimer. Today, in the current affairs segment, I'm going to make a video on Panama Canal. Okay, so you can understand Panama from there. But here on the map, you can see Panama Canal. See, it's right here. Very important. Very important. One of the largest artificial waterways apart from Suez Canal. So Panama Canal, very important. There is always a controversy between US and China as to who will dominate the Panama Canal. A major chunk of crude and other trade passes from here. It reduces transit cost for countries in North America. Very important. Then at the same time, you all know Suez Canal. Suez Canal, the top left antenna of Red Sea. Yes, Egypt, Suez Canal, very, very important. The Sumet pipeline. Then you have Danish Straits near the Scandinavian countries. Again, very important. Remember, I told you, when India cannot buy oil from Gulf because of Hormuz close, and India cannot buy oil from US because of lengthy timeline, India will now take some gas from Norway. So it will come from Danish Strait here. Then Turkey also has a very important choke point called as Dardanelles. Okay? Dardanelles, very important. Turkish. It was an alternate route that was being spoken about as Bab el-Mandeb and Hormuz were shutting down. Then you all know about Bab el-Mandeb. Where is Bab el-Mandeb? Yemen. Yemen, Gulf of Aden. You all know the route? Mediterranean Sea, Suez Canal, Red Sea. Red Sea closes at Yemen. Bab el-Mandeb, from there to Gulf of Aden. And finally into Arabian Sea. 9:30 in the morning, bache. The Bosphorus Strait, very important. Now, similarly, Cape of Good Hope. That day in the class, all of us were talking about things like, if all these routes are closed, Bab el-Mandeb is also closed, Hormuz is also closed, how will we get oil from African countries? Who asked that question? I don't remember. It was a discussion between Terukula and Shlok, I think. How will we buy from Africa? So you see the Cape of Good Hope. Another lengthy route. Not a very developed route, but lengthy route. Similarly, Hormuz you all know about. We just saw in the last slide. Right? Now the last is Strait of Malacca. Very important. Very, very important. Is it clear with everyone? Yes, very good, Ramu. You should also know the order. Sometimes prelims can ask you, prelims question. Arrange them from right to left or left to right. First, I thought I will get that question, but then I thought let's confuse my students a little bit more. I changed that question. We spoke about Malacca, right? China depends on Strait of Malacca. Now, quickly tell me, bache, if Malacca also fails, if Malacca is also closed, is there any other alternate underdeveloped route that is in the Java Sea? Very good, Satya. Sunda Strait. So this map is missing out on two. One is Sunda, okay, and the other is the one that we spoke about. That is in Turkey. That's also very, very important. The Bosphorus Strait. That's it. Apart from that, this map has all the important straits. Hypothetical scenario, absolutely. So can we have a look at the question now? See, I'll tell you one thing. Although when I have the Zoom classes tomorrow, finally, your wait is over. Tomorrow I'm announcing the Zoom classes. Various categories, various kinds for anybody who is interested. Pakka, it's a promise. Now, if I see Shlok laughing or Yuvraj laughing, then 8 questions I will make you do them. This time, no delay. Tomorrow I will announce the Zoom classes. Okay. Having said that, this map is really good, Bache, because it has the great coverage of all the choke points. And for those who are well prepared with the map about choke points, half your energy becomes easy. Half of it becomes easy. Okay, why it becomes easy? Because any map-based question will not be a problem for you then. Am I right? Clear? Let's have a look at the question. Yuvraj is giving a very hypothetical scenario. What scenario? Okay, all right. Quickly the question, Rajneeshwar, Shlok, Krishna, Sumed, Reshma. Yes, bache, let's have a look. With reference to important global maritime choke points, consider these statements. 1. The Strait of Hormuz connects Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman and handles a significant share of global petroleum trade. Say, for example, we know about 30%. Second, the Suez Canal directly connects Mediterranean Sea with the Atlantic Ocean without passing through any other sea. 3. The Strait of Malacca lies between Indonesia and Philippines. Indonesia and Philippines, and is a major route for East Asia's energy imports. Which of these statements are correct? There is a split. Yes, there is a split. I won. There is a split. There is a split. Nobody can say there is no split. Oh, come on, bache. Have a look. 2 people have answered B. Minor split. Shlok is saying, don't be so happy. Minor split. Now it has become major split. Okay. Who started answering? Initiated from Reshma. Then Vikash, then Sumed, Saurav, Jonah, then Shlok, then Rajneshwar, Pranarithi, Ramu, Apex, Terukula, Bhavna. Very good. Neil Chandra, Shinobi, Eric is here. He is answering. Satya, Shaik, Urupam, Akash, Chetan. Okay, well tried. Good response. But which is the one? A or B? Some confusion. Let's break it down. Kerry says C. Ramu goes with A. Interesting. Anok says A. Let's break it down. First one. Is it correct? Totally correct. Why totally correct? Because we know Strait of Hormuz. Even if we see the map, we will know Strait of Hormuz is doing that. Strait of Hormuz is indeed connecting the Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman. Absolutely. And it is very important because 30% of oil and gas passes from here. So it's correct, right? If first is correct, then can we say C is wrong? Of course, we can eliminate C. Yes, bache? First is correct. Chalo, let's see the second one now. Suez Canal directly connects Mediterranean Sea to the Atlantic Ocean. Oh goodness. This is a total mess with geography. This is a total mess with geography. Suez Canal, the left antenna of the Red Sea, that's in Egypt. Sumat pipeline. How can it connect Mediterranean with Atlantic directly? How can we connect it with Atlantic directly, bache? Not possible. What does it connect? Then what does it connect? Yes, very good, Terukula. There is the Mediterranean Sea. Then there is Suez Canal in Egypt, which connects it to the Red Sea. Absolutely. So this is totally wrong. That means D is wrong. 3. Strait of Malacca lies between Indonesia, correct, and Philippines? No, it's not between Indonesia and Philippines. It's between Indonesia and Malaysia and Singapore. We have discussed it. Strait of Malacca is generally patrolled by the 3 neighboring countries. One is your Indonesia, where India had sent Prussian blue tablets. Second is Malaysia, where you had the very famous ASEAN summit this year, Kuala Lumpur, which India did not attend. 2026 is supposed to be the India ASEAN Maritime year. Then the third is Singapore. Where is Philippines coming in the picture from? It's not in Philippines. In fact, that's why India is saying, I want to help in patrolling the strait. That's why India is busy making infrastructure, like the Great Nicobar Island. Yes? So therefore, both are wrong. That means A is the right answer. So very well answered, everyone. And thank you for your explanation, Ramu and Terukula. Very good. Strait of Gibraltar is the one that connects Atlantic in the west to Mediterranean in the east. Absolutely. Talking about Swiss is between Mediterranean and Red. Yes. So well answered overall. Some confusions are there, but I think the more map focused we are, the better. So never study theory, bache. Always consult the map. In fact, if you ask me, those who are finding history boring, now I know some of you love history, but some don't exactly enjoy history as much or architecture as much. Use map. Use map. No matter what you study, history, geography, in fact, social justice, tribes, or say environment, type of forest, always keep a map handy with you. You'll love the subject and you remember better. Okay, so UPSC is generally more practically applied based paper, so they will use map based logic. So the more you see map, the happier you will be. Okay, all right. Next article quickly. Yeah, I know. Shlok is a history fan, but many people are not. I remember I spoke about Nitin Sanghania and he said, I'm done with Nitin Sanghania. So some students are struggling with that. So that's why I feel map could be really helpful there. Okay, all right. Great then. Next article. Path ahead for Nepal's new leadership. Now we know that Nepal recently experienced a very big Gen Z movement. Because of that, the existing leadership collapsed. And then there was an interim prime minister, Miss Sushila Tyagi. Not just was that she's the first chief justice of Nepal, but also she was the first lady to become interim prime minister of Nepal. But now elections happened, and yes, the person who is a great, well-known musician, he's very close to the heart of people. Mr. Balendra Shah is finally the new leader of Nepal, but the new leadership of Nepal right now is making all the Nepali people very happy, especially the youth, because youth are trusting him too much with regards to his anti-corruption agenda, anti-nepotism agenda. He's a very pro-people person, which is great, but that doesn't mean that Nepal has completely resolved all the pending border issues with India and China. No, that has not happened. Nepal Zelensky, who said that? My God, my students are hyper creative. Hyper creative. Nepali Zelensky. Just imagine. What am I supposed to say now? Next level people. Okay, coming back. So you see, Nepal doesn't just have a border problem with India, but 2 days before we had a very interesting news article which said that finally India and Nepal, after 7 years break, I repeat, India and China, India and China, after a break of 7 years because of COVID pandemic, because of Galwan Valley clash, have finally decided to resume trade relations through Lipu Lake Pass. I repeat, trade relations through Lipu Lake Pass. Where is Lipu Lake Pass? Uttarakhand. But it is at a tri-junction. Three countries are a part of this area: India, China, Nepal. It's a very controversial location. And every time India is trying to create a proper road or an infrastructure through Lipu Lake to facilitate access to Kailash Mansarovar journey, Nepal has a problem. Nepal has its own map. Nepal has its own interpretation of the Lipu Lake Pass, Limpi Adhura area. And Nepal has its own map also. And India doesn't agree. So, therefore, a big headache for Nepal, despite having a pro youth leader, is not just to create better domestic policies. A big burden for Mr. Balendra Shah, no matter how popular he is to balance the dynamics between China and India. Because after all, Nepal is a buffer area between India and China. And I have told you, Bache, no matter which part of history you look into, buffer areas are always points of contention. Look at Ukraine. Look at Ukraine. Look at waterways like Hormuz. Look at Panama. Look at Malacca. Look at Afghanistan. Look at these places like Nepal. The moment you are a buffer zone, the more problematic you become in balancing geopolitics between two big countries, and that's Nepal right now. So let's quickly have a look at the map and try to understand what are the new challenges in front of Mr. Balendra Shah. Now, Nepal has rejected previous old conventional nepotistic leadership. Who said that? Very good. The Maasai tribal. Now, the Maasai tribal we associate with Africa. But there is another area, there is another ethnic community that lives in this Nepal area. The same question came in UPSC prelims exam 2-3 years before. There is an ethnic community from Nepal area. It also starts with M, like Vikash is talking of Maasai tribals. I am saying that also starts with M. Which community is that? It was asked by UPSC exam. It is broadly inhabiting the Nepali area. A community that starts with M. Think about it and let me know. I'm not asking about river bache. Community? Very good, Terukula. Very, very good. Madheshi community. Madheshi community. Brilliant. Excellent. It came in UPSC exam, bache. Again, map-based question. Very well answered, Reshma. Everyone, very, very good. So let's quickly do this article, bacha now. You can see the map very clearly in front of you, both on the right and the left-hand side. The right side is broadly Nepal. You can have a look at how Nepal is surrounded by majority. That's completely fine, Vikash. Thanks for mentioning. It also reminded me of Madheshi community. It's good, actually. So now you look at Nepal and see all the bordering Indian states here. Left, Uttarakhand. You can see largest here, Uttar Pradesh. Look at Bihar, look at West Bengal, look at Sikkim here. Yes, a perfect buffer state. So what's happening, bache? Nepal has a new leader, the young reformer, musician, Balendra Shah. He has become so popular because he is pro-democracy, anti-establishment. He is the symbol of Generation Z aspirations. He promises that he is going to focus on good governance and nationalism, but Nepal's geography is problematic. Nepal's geography is problematic, and geography will not change with a political leadership change. Nepal lies strategically between India and China, two countries which still have unresolved border problems. Treaty of Sogoli, 1816, very good. So Nepal must balance between both India and China, irrespective of who is the leader of Nepal. How does it matter to China or India? The border issues are the same. What is India to China? What is India for Nepal? What is the importance of India to the small country Nepal? It has an open border with Nepal. This article is saying we have a roti-beti relationship with Nepal. This article is saying we have a roti-beti relation with Nepal. What does it mean? India and Nepal are culturally linked through matrimonial ties also. Similar religious communities also. India is a provider for Nepal. Border is porous. Cultural religious ties are there. Very good, Reshma. India believes in neighborhood first policy. Absolutely. Nepal is a major trade partner for India. Nepal is a trade partner, but for Nepal, India is the most important trade partner. India provides Nepal petroleum. India is responsible for Nepal's hydroelectricity capacity. But what about China? Is China important too? Yes. Yes. The most debated thing in the news right now is an international airport that was made by China in Nepal. You must have heard this in the news. I promise you must have heard. It's called the Pokhara International Airport. Pokhara International Airport. Very important, bacha. Pokhara International Airport. This is China's infrastructure investment in Nepal under the broader BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. China's debt trap policy, very good Shlok, absolutely. So this PRA, Pokhara International Airport, is Nepal's third international airport. It was opened in 2023, built with Chinese loan assistance. Very important to China's BRI, but it is still not operational properly. Why? Because one thing, Nepal could not pay the loan. And second, there is a major corruption allegation here. Major corruption is involved in building this dam. There are environmental concerns also. So, what is happening? China's financial influence in Nepal is rising day by day. And what does Nepal do? Nepal knows that India is indispensable for Nepal. But whenever the border issue comes, Nepal starts favoring China. That becomes problematic for India. Why? Why is India-Nepal border a matter of dispute? You can look at the left side map here now, bacha. The entire dispute is about Kala Pani Lipu Lake Limpia Dhura area. It's with state of Uttarakhand in India. What's happening? Both India and Nepal are claiming ownership of this region. What does Nepal say? Nepal says the Kali River, wherever the Kali River starts, that's the boundary between us. And who decided that? It was the British who decided that. As Terukula said in 1816 through the Treaty of Sugoli. 1816 Treaty of Sugoli. That was the decision that was taken. That whichever is the origin of River Kali, the boundary between two countries starts from there. But this is problematic because Nepal says Kali River originates at Limpia Dhura. So the area belongs to me. But India says no. Kali River doesn't originate at Limpia Dhura. It starts way ahead. Not there, but far away from there. So therefore, the area should typically belong to India. That's the controversy. On the map, you can see Limpia Dhura. In Uttarakhand, it's very close to a district called Pithodagad. I know it because that's my home state. Yes. And this is the Kalapani area. This entire yellow region is disputed. Kalapani, Lipu Lake, Limpia Dhura. All because there is no clarity on the origin of River Kali. No clarity. Yes. So that's why there is an ongoing border conflict. Now Nepal maintains its own map. Every time India, China think of opening the Lipu Lake Pass for trade, people have a problem. Nepal has a problem. Every time India creates infrastructure at Lipu Lake, Nepal has a problem. Nepal says you can't. Even though India is doing this to make Kailash Mansarovar easy and more accessible, China gives the permission through Tibet, but Nepal doesn't. Nepal says without my permission, you cannot create any infrastructure here. So why is the problem continuing even right now? Because let's understand that this disputed area, Limpia Dhura area, is not just about India and Nepal. It includes China as well. China comes in the picture. It's a tri-junction. It's a tri-junction between three countries. So what happens? India recently created a road to Lipu Lake Pass used for Kailash Mansarovar Yatra journey. Nepal objected. Nepal said India has not consulted me. And China's presence makes the situation worse, strategically sensitive. Why does it matter? Because Nepal is a buffer country between India and China. When Nepal has tensions with India, it moves closer to China. And then China benefits by increasing its influence in Nepal. It's coming more close to India. And China is an aggressive country, let's not forget. Then India wants stable relationship with both China and Nepal. India doesn't want another war front here. Already India is busy fighting its battle with Pakistan and China. It doesn't want it to happen through Nepal at all. So what's the foreign policy challenge for Mr. Balendra Shah? So he has the support of the youth, we know that. But he must avoid leaning too much either pro-China or pro-India. He should follow pragmatic diplomacy. In a way, what we are trying to say is that we must also encourage strategic autonomy for Nepal itself. Because if Nepal favors one country, it becomes problematic. Okay? Okay? All right. Now, quickly, let's have a look at the question. So, right now, we are doing a broad coverage. All right? A broad coverage of the entire issue. The River Kali may have so many tributaries, distributaries, but we are just talking about the origination point related to the Treaty of Sugoli. Okay? That's all we are looking into. Not exactly the detailed geography of the area. Okay? Now, quickly, the question. Sagar Matha, very good point raised by Vikash. Thank you so much for that. Consider the following statements. 1. Terukula Madhav have already answered. Shlok has answered. Diptesh has answered. Okay. 1. The Kalapani Lipu Lake dispute lies near the tri-junction of India, Nepal and China. 2nd. Nepal's claim over disputed territory is based on its interpretation of origination of Kali River. And 3, the strategic importance of Lipu Lake Pass is enhanced, improved, because it provides access to Kailash Mansarovar route and lies close to Tibet region of China. There is no split. I can't see any split except a minor little split here and there. So Shlok initiated, followed by Terukula, Madhav, Diptesh, Sumed, Jonah, Vikash, Saurav. Bhavna, Yuvraj, Chetan, Elvin, Apex, Kavish, Shinobi, Eric, Neil, Anok, all are correct. Pranarthi. So D is the right answer. Very well done. Very minor split, but well done everyone. Indeed, it's correct. Very good, Ramu. Totally correct. So now, once again, traveling to another region of the world. Very good, Kojumba. Absolutely. Very good, Kojumba. Very good, Munna. Perfect, Sitaram. Absolutely. Nepal has been very pro-China in the last few years, ever since this airport construction and infrastructure BRI expanded, and ever since the border issue, ever since India is trying to reclaim the areas of Lipu Lake in terms of any development, it always goes pro-China. That's a problem. That's a problem with both. That's a problem with both Bangladesh and Nepal, and even Bhutan for that matter. Buffer states are always a problem. They are swing states, but their taking side means a lot to the bigger countries because everybody wants to have a hold of buffer area. Everybody, nobody wants to leave them. Okay, now quickly the last article for the day, but very interesting article, and we have to travel a little bit for this. My students are a pro of this. Already Vikash says Badmi area. Correct. So right you are. Let's quickly see what's happening with the map. What happens? What is going on? The news says a lot of people are experiencing killing, genocide, hunger, displacement in Ethiopia's Tigray area in the last 3 years. That's heartbreaking. We know that among all the civil wars of the world, this region, the Badmi area, of course, the Tigray area, is an area that experiences a lot of genocide and humanitarian crisis. Lot of problem. So let's go to the map and see now what happened, and let me quickly revise the whole big issue with you so that we remember forever. Okay? All right? Let's quickly look at the map, bache, and let's revise Ethiopia, Pretoria. All right, all right. Why was Ethiopia in the news? A far region, Haile Gubbi volcano. Neighborhood country, Eritrea. Yes? So what is going on now? Listen carefully. Where is the Tigray area? What is Tigray? Tigray area is a very famous area. It's a mountainous area. Very good, Madhav. It's a mountainous area. It's a hilly terrain. Beautiful area. Where is it located? Northern Ethiopia. Yes. Northern Ethiopia. Haile Gubbi volcano. Northern Ethiopia. The area in yellow here. Northern Ethiopia. It has historically used its land to defend itself against invaders. Greeks came. Turkish people came. Italians came. But it was the Tigray area, the mountains of the Tigray that protected Ethiopia from foreign invasions. But now it has become a curse for the people. What's the ethnicity of people who live here? If somebody asks you, like Madheshi, Nepal, who are the people who live in the Tigray area? These are Tigrin people, Irob people. I remember. Who are these people? Irob people. These are the communities who live here. Tigrin people. Kunama people. If somebody asks you, where do Kunama tribes live? Where do Irob tribe live? Then let's remember they live in the Tigray area. Okay? My students should remember it's Tigray area, bache. Yes? A very important area here. Very important area here. Which is both the capital and the largest city of Tigray is Mekelle. 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 It is not just the capital of Tigray area, the most important city here. So two things we'll remember. Mekelle in Tigray, Tigray in northern Ethiopia, boundary with Eritrea, Irob and Kunama people usually live here. Yes, they have a lot of ethnic similarities. Now, what are the bordering areas for Tigray? What are the boundary areas for Tigray, bache? Yes, boundary areas are Tigray shares border with Eritrea in the north. You can have a look at the map. Eritrea is in the north part. Yes, we know that. Then Sudan is to the west. Oh, what a dangerous area. Sudan is in the west. Sudan and South Sudan already ethnic violence. Sudan is on the west. There is another famous area here that is located to the south. Which area is that? It is called Amhara region. Amhara region. Okay. Amhara region in Ethiopia. You already know about Afar region, volcano, Heli Gabbi. Now we are looking at Amara region. Below Tigray region, there is another region called Amara region. Amhara region. Amhara. Then apart from Amhara, there is Afar region to the east and southeast. If you look at southeast and east, it is Afar region. Where did Heli Gabbi volcano burst? Shield volcano, Afar. Yes? So you will remember this? Amhara region? Alright. Okay, bache? Wonderful. Now, Babal Mandeb. Who mentioned Babal Mandeb? Very good shlok. Yes, here is Babal Mandeb, your favorite choke point. Gulf of Aden. Done? Okay. Let's now focus. What is the background of this area? Why is it in the news all the time? Why the genocide and humanitarian problem? Because there has been a long-term fight between Tigrans, people of Tigray, and Eritrea. And the fight goes back to 1998 and 2000. This is called the Ethiopian-Eritrean War. It occurred long back in 2000. It occurred approximately 20, so many years before now. Close to say about 26 years before, 2 decades ago. It was very brutal war. Many people died in the war. Horrible. Thousands of soldiers died. Some people call it African Holocaust. Dangerous war. Very good, Terukula. Pretoria Peace Agreement. Brilliant. Brilliant. So many people died there. Krishna is laughing. Ma'am says favorite joke point. Okay. Many people died in the war. What was the cause, bacha? The root of the crisis can be traced back to Ethiopia's system of government. Now, since 1994, Ethiopia maintained a federal system of government in which different ethnic groups used to control different regions of the country. Different ethnic groups used to control. But the most important was TPLF. I repeat, TPLF. TPLF is called Tigray People Liberation Front, the most important ethnic group. Tigray people, Tigray group. It was very influential in setting its monopoly. It was not just a leading group, it was also the leader of 4-party coalition that used to govern Ethiopia since 1991 onwards. Under the coalition, Ethiopia became prosperous. The country was doing very well. Country was stable. But there was a problem. There was a concern that was raised about human right violation and the subduing of democracy. It was a very successful government, but it was a dictatorship. There was no humanitarian right. There was a lot of suppression of human right and no democracy existing here. But why the war started? Because people became so fed up. People were so discontented that ultimately protests started happening, leading to a government change. And then came a new prime minister known as Mr. Abiy Ahmed. You must have heard his name multiple times. You can get all the notes. It's completely your property. I also want to be free of this burden. I'll transfer all the PDFs very soon. It's pending with me so long. Everything you will get on Telegram. Don't worry. It's all yours. Abiy Ahmed. So, bacha, now comes a new prime minister finally after discontentment, Abiy Ahmed. When did he come to power? 2018. Oh, what an exciting time. What an exciting time. Why exciting time? Because 2018 was also the situation when in Syria something was going on. Al-Assad regime finally was about to come to an end. It was in a very, very horrible situation. This was also the time people were fighting their most against Al-Assad, the great dictator of Syria, who finally lost power, replaced by Al-Shara, Port Tartus, but they are backed, supported by Mr. Putin, correct? He was the biggest dictator of his time. He used to use biological warfare. His government was rattling that time. During same time, 2018, here also, one new change came. Mr. Abiy Ahmed came to power in 2018 in this area. Correct? Once he came to the power, what happened? The Tigray people lost their political influence. Till now, they were ruling supreme. Till now, the Tigran Liberation Front was the ruler here practically. But after Mr. Ahmad came, their power became declining. Nobody was bothered about them. They started feeling isolated. They started feeling rejected. They lost their influence completely. And then what happened? There was a constant disagreement over elections and autonomy. Then fighting started in 2020. The COVID pandemic here was a disaster for this area. Proper war started. What did Prime Minister Ahmed do? Mr. A.B. Ahmed started liberalizing politics. He set up a new party called Prosperity Party. Name is very funny. Prosperity Party. He removed all the Tigray government leaders from source. He said Tigrans are corrupt. Tigrans are into repression and nepotism. He removed all the Tigran people and created his party called Prosperity Party. Now, as he was trying to create Prosperity Party, he was also trying to solve the long dispute with neighborhood Eritrea. His efforts were seen as so good that in 2019 he won the Nobel Peace Prize. Nobody should forget that. Just like you remember Jimmy Carter and his Nobel Peace Prize for Camp David Accord, today I want all of you to remember. It was because of his Prosperity Party and stabilization of relations with neighborhood Eritrea that Mr. A.B. Ahmed in 2019, quite recently, got the Nobel Peace Prize. Just because he tried to end the long-term conflict between two neighbors, Eritrea and Ethiopia. Yes, he was constantly crying, I think, since that time only. Yes. So he got the Nobel Prize. Now, all this has made Mr. A.B. Ahmed very famous, very popular leader, but some people are unhappy. Who? Tigrans are unhappy. Tigrans are totally rejected. They are looking at Mr. Ahmed and his reforms as an attempt of centralization, as an attempt of killing completely Ethiopia's federal system. So since 2020, the war started. He may have got the Nobel Prize, but there is no end to the war. The war continues. So primarily the war is between the Tigran people and the mainstream party in Ethiopia. Of course, there is a long-standing war in the Badmi area also. That is the land dispute between Eritrea and Ethiopia. So is that clear with everyone? That's it. Is that clear? Now, before I take your leave, can I ask you 2-3 questions only as a part of the daily quiz? And then I take your leave. May I do that? Yes, Shlok says yes. May I get the permission from other students as well? Carrot and stick policy, Eric. That's true. All the global leaders are using those policies. Now, morning when I came to know that Mr. Trump is asking for 5 days break, it reminded me of my childhood. We used to play games and somebody who's tired will say 5 minutes, water break, please. I'm speechless actually. Okay, so can we have a quick quiz? Great. So please quickly answer my question, Bache. This is easy one. Huh? It's been in the news right now. In which country will you find the famous Ras Laffan industrial city? In which country will you find the world famous Ras Laffan industrial city, which is famous for producing liquefied natural gas or LNG, on which India depends, which has been attacked right now from Iran, and therefore global supplies are under challenge? Qatar, Shlok, Reshma, Qatar? Very good. Very good, Bhavna. Well answered. Qatar. Yes, Qatar. The same Qatar which has the military base of US Al Udeid Air Base. Now this area is being attacked from Iran as a retaliation to US policies, US war. Ras Laffan industrial city. Brilliant. Very good, everyone. Shaikh. It's in Qatar. It's the largest one. Very good. Great. Second question. In which canal, in which important strategic choke point in the world will you find a very famous lake that's known as Gatun Lake? Gatun. Gatun Lake. It's a massive artificial lake right in the middle of a strategic choke point. Please, will you tell me which strategic choke point is that? Very good. It is indeed Panama. Very good. And thanks for reminding Ramu, the South Pars, Ras Laffan. Very good. So now I'm talking about Panama. Very good, Reshma, Terukula, Bhavna, Diptesh. Indeed. What is the Gatun Lake? Gatun? Gatun Lake is a massive artificial lake in the middle of Isthmus of Panama, formed by the creation of Panama Canal, which crosses through Panama from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean. Man-made. Very good. Brilliant. Okay. Third question, easy again. Which country continues to be the world's largest steel producer in 2026? At least until January 2026. Largest steel producer. And this country is making about 75.3 million tons of steel. Which country is this? Largest steel producer in the world. China. Very good. Okay, I can share the mail ID with you. Adya, I can do that. Then you can have one-on-one sessions with me also. I'll open up that facility. Tomorrow I'll throw up that advertisement on Telegram. You can contact me, not a problem. It's China. Very good. It's China. So Ramu accuses, he just blames for fun, and Shlok says preemptive. Even if roaring lion was not preemptive, my answers are preemptive for sure. Okay, that's really sweet of both of you. Okay, now the last question from my side, Bache. The last question. Okay. The last question is that which country is the world's largest aluminum producer? Largest producer of aluminum in 2026, having a dominant position by producing about 43 million metric tons of aluminum. That's about 60% of total global production. Oh my God. Which country is that? Largest aluminum producer, Reshma Terukula. It is China. It is China. China is the world's, very good Diptesh and Shlok, China is the largest, good Veda. It's the largest producer of aluminum, followed by India. Who is second? India is second. Who is third? Russia is third. So on a scale of 1 to 3, not a problem, my dear bache. On a scale of 1 to 3, China is the top producer, followed by India, followed by Russia. Not a problem. Is it probably because of the YouTube speed also? I mean, I've seen the streaming speed myself. It fluctuates depending on the area you're in, the data speed. So that's completely fine. If you know the answer, it's fine, but that's totally okay. A 9th student, then this is a UPSC class. I'm glad that you're an early learner, but I do suppose you have a lot of time. So learn, explore, and grow. I don't think you'll really need to speak with me or have an interaction with me per se. So you'd rather just enjoy the sessions and contact your teachers who can guide you better with school syllabus. All right. God bless you. Okay then. Fine then. So China is the world's largest aluminum producer. Very good, Pratik and Madhav and Ramu. So now I'll take your leave, Bache. A quick reminder. Here at StudyIQ, we are running Safalta Mahotsav sale, and the sale has been extended till 27 March. So if you use code SPLIVE, you get lots of discount. Already it is 60% off that you're getting. All right. So today I will make some interesting current affairs video, and tomorrow finally the Telegram suspense will also become over. PDFs will be shared with everyone. Thank you so much. After a long time, I really enjoyed the class. Loved interacting with you. God bless you, and always grow like that. Always be very quick, be very inquisitive, be very curious, and learn each day. Something valuable each day. My blessings are always with you. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, bache. Bye.